October 3rd, 2009. A storm of bullets, rockets, grenades, and mortars rained down upon a remote U.S. outpost in eastern Afghanistan, deep in a valley. The Taliban had found a perfect target, Combat Outpost Keating, one of the most vulnerable American military posts in Afghanistan. Studied by the enemy since it was set up 3 years before, as seen in the Taliban's own video.
Get that shit up!
Time and again since the post was created in 2006, its defenses were tested by the Taliban.
See the muzzle flashes?
But on that October morning in 2009, the enemy staged its fiercest attack yet. The high ground and their vastly superior numbers gave the Taliban a huge advantage. 8 Americans would be killed in a battle that lasted from dawn till dusk, and would come to symbolize the end of a military strategy to hold remote mountainous outposts constantly under attack. But from the blood and embers, these faces of heroism, soldiers laying down their lives for their brothers, bravery rarely matched in American military history. Good evening, I'm Jake Tapper. In the more than 11 years that the United States has been fighting in Afghanistan, more than 2,000 Americans have been killed in that war, with more than 18,000 wounded. Also during that time, Presidents Bush and Obama have awarded 6 American service members the highest honor one can receive, the Medal of Honor, for actions in that war. 3 of those awards have been made posthumously. On Monday, President Obama will award the 7th American service member the Medal of Honor, former Staff Sergeant Clint Romesha, who lives here in Minot, North Dakota. It's 4:45 a.m. The sun is not yet up, but Clint Romesha sure is. Beginning his commute to his job as field safety specialist for an oiled field construction firm, leaving his wife and 3 children behind. It's a dark 90-minute drive. Plenty of time to reminisce about another place. On the other side of the world, Afghanistan.
Can't stop but think about Jones strumming away on that guitar.
That's Private Chris Jones, who often lightened the mood for his fellow soldiers in the middle of the war zone.
Jones playing that guitar and his quirky little songs him and Copus would make up, you know, is always a memory that gives a little chuckle to my heart whenever I look back. For me, you know, I don't sit there and try and reflect on the bad stuff.
Long before the bad stuff, Clint Romesha lived an idyllic life in Lake City, California, with his parents, 2 older brothers, and 2 sisters. Both brothers joined the military after high school, following in the footsteps of their father, a Vietnam veteran.
We all looked up, you know, to Dad, looked up to my grandfather, World War II vet. It's just a whole family service that I always knew I was going to serve, always wanted to serve.
He joined the Army in 1999 and operated tanks in Kosovo. By 2001, Romesha was stationed in Germany. On 9/11, a colonel called the troops together.
He let us know that there had been 2 planes that flew into the World Trade Center, and that our lives were about to change, and to be ready, you know, take the training to heart.
You're getting emotional talking about that, remembering that. Why?
You know, it was an emotional day for everybody in America. You know, it was one of those things that the average American just didn't see coming. And, you know, I'd never thought that terror would be that close to our front door.
By 2004, the U.S. would be waging war on 2 fronts: in Afghanistan and in Iraq, where Romesha was sent as a tank driver and gunner. On his second deployment in 2006, Romesha became a scout.
The idea of being a scout, sneaking around, having your most effective weapon being the fact that no one knows you're there, and having that radio on your back to call in for the help and the support to to engage and destroy the enemy was, it was one of those Hollywood, jazzy jobs that always excited me.
As Romesha was sneaking around Iraq, his wife Tammy was raising their first daughter, Des, in San Diego. Military couples deal with separation differently. Some talk and email constantly. Others, like Clint Romesha, find they must concentrate solely on the mission of staying alive.
It was hard to sit there and make those phone calls and hear about, Desi and her first day at school or, her first words. It just couldn't do anything about it. To have that distract you, for me personally was something that wasn't the time and place. Focus on the mission, focus on getting the guys home.
Romesha's next deployment would be to Nuristan province in eastern Afghanistan to combat Outpost Keating, a base that many American soldiers thought never should have been built at all. Outpost Keating was built in 2006. With so many troops and assets deployed to Iraq, those in Afghanistan had to make do. One part of the strategy was to build small outposts as the U.S. pushed into eastern Afghanistan. The location was a trap, evident from the moment Romesha's unit arrived in May 2009.
What was your first reaction?
First reaction was, I think, the same as everybody that stepped foot on that COP is, this is a pretty indefensible spot.
I thought we was supposed to be on top of a mountain. This is crazy. I mean, that's how I felt, shooting up. But I mean, I was there, I can't be like, this is stupid.
The outpost was in the Hindu Kush mountain range, in a part of the world where you're either on a mountain or in the valley below. In order to be near the population and the road so it could be resupplied, Combat Outpost Keating was at the bottom of 3 steep mountains. Soldiers had been fatally attacked there before. In 2007, Private Chris Pfeiffer. In 2008, Camp Commander Captain Rob Yescas. And near there, a different camp commander, Captain Tom Bostic. As lethal as its position was the outpost's terrain. The camp was named for Lieutenant Ben Keating, killed when his truck rolled over the treacherous side of the road leading to the camp.
I knew it was a bad spot, and I knew that previous commanders had expired there. But to sit there and dig up every little detail on it, it wasn't healthy for the guys to be exposed to that kind of information.
So, your very first day at Combat Outpost Keating, there was an attack, and a soldier with the platoon leaving, Shane Shearer, got a massive head wound. Other guys got sprinkled with shrapnel.
To have that instant action and that reality check right off the bat really helped set the tempo to know what to prep the guys for. But it also gave you that instant sense of, we're not over here selling Girl Scout cookies, guys. We're in a real fight.
Romesha and his men knew it was not a question of if there would be a major attack, but when.